Thank you. Uh, Looks like I'm probably in a bad position now because you guys want to leave, and so I will not present anything, but let me share some interesting information with you and some views around sovereignty. I just heard the panel, by the way. Um, Especially discussion about the layers where sovereignty should lie, etc., whether we should invest in foundation or application, etc. So let me share some research facts with you because we are a lab, and some of the work we do is, in a window 2 to 5 years ahead. In next 5 years, we believe there will be 2 billion agents. So 17,000 crore agents that will be there everywhere. We also believe you will stop having applications that have code. So which means the way you see applications today, which is compiled code, will not be there in future. The research labs are already building what we call a harness, which means in future you will not install any application or code. You will simply tell the AI that this is my harness, these are my prompt libraries, can you build the software for me? So there is the concept of software over the air and software installation per se will die. What, does that mean that we forget the application layer? No. What I'm trying to say is fundamentally the way the application layer will be way, way different from the understanding we have of applications today. That understanding will change. Number two, foundational layer. I think a lot of people that we meet, they are actually using the technology from these frontier model and feeling that we can't build it. The only problem is if you keep using them, you will keep training them, and you will never make an effort to even build anything yourself. And we don't have to start from scratch. Today, if you look at it, there is a huge war on the digital front between US and China. So US Frontier Labs will release a model, and one of the Chinese lab will release the open source weights for that or equivalent model. If they can build it, so can we. But if we do not invest in building a foundational layer now, you will not have any AI of yourself. So I'm not sure if, I know the audience is not there, but Manoj sir, you are there, and others who may be listening in. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about a model called Mythos. Everybody has. In confidence, let me share, IBM has access to the model. We are using it. And you should be scared what it can be do. Mythos can actually not, see the way we catch bugs today and we catch any malicious code today is based on patterns. Models learn patterns, and then you can catch them whether a code base has a bad pattern, good pattern. Similar thing goes for application. Mythos is built by actually hackers training it in such a way across multiple hundreds of files, code files. It can figure out where the logic is weak. It can write a program on the fly to exploit that logic rather than a pattern. So, and the other thing I hear the most, people say is that we will build it based on open source. IBM gets into this discussion a lot because people say you are a US company. Why should we even talk to you? This is something I get to hear so often. And we'll build ourselves in open source. I've been in this business for 26 years now. I started writing in assembly language. I challenge people. If we had built software, then we would have world-class software companies doing that. How many products we have that are built here that are actually used as products outside? And there are partner companies who have, and they somehow fall between solution and products. We are very strong on banking area. TCS has its own product. Infosys has its own product in banking, but nothing beyond that. What I'm going to say is this now. People who've been using open source packages have made their software the most insecure because the Mythos is actually trained on that. Even before you know it, if you are not using enterprise open source, when enterprise open source means one of the players who's installed the software for you is also updating the patching of the open source whenever a bug is found. They maintain the governance over it. If you do not do that, and if you're directly using open source package, you are the most insecure organization today. And believe me, if Anthropic has built Mythos, I'm sure one of the Chinese companies is also making it. And will be under attack. You cannot guarantee everything by air gapping everything. You air gap everything, then you're not going to be digital. So there is a catch-22 we all live in. Sovereignty actually has to be at all the layers. Sovereignty has to start at the layer of data and AI, wherein you can have sovereignty control over that. It has to also be at an operational and digital layer. So what I mean by that is, let's start with the same fundamental, that open source packages also have to be governed. When somebody has changed it, if somebody has found an issue, it is reported, insert, you actually patch it. Who does the patching? I don't know how many government departments actually have a process of patching open source software. Now, on top of that, apply compliance requirements that are there. So if you are patching, are you actually meeting the DP Act requirement or not? If you are also using data from somewhere, then there are so many policies and compliance requirements that come into picture. So which means the way you look at it has to be different. We do not have to get egoistic about whether we should do this or not. We have to do. We have to build our own models. We have to build our own layers, but in a sovereign way. And I can proudly say that we have actually launched a product called Sovereign Core. A lot of work of that actually happened out of Lucknow. So very soon we'll actually be, showcasing Sovereign Core out of here. What that product does is, starting all the way from data and AI. So your data, when it actually leaves, the policy and governance on top of the data are actually in your control. Now, you can install it on AWS. You can install it on Meghdut Cloud for Government. You can install it on-prem somewhere, wherever you have air-gapped system. But the control will be yours. At any point of time, if you are using any other cloud and you think you are in control, that's a lie. What does it mean by control? Can you apply your government ID user management control over a cloud installation? No, somebody can look into your data. But when you can do that, you can encrypt with your own key. So even if they get your data, they can do nothing about it. And in one of the earlier sessions, I mentioned that technology is moved beyond and it is getting to a stage of quantum safe. Assume tomorrow Iran is actually saying that they will cut the undersea cable. 60% of India's internet comes from the Strait of Hormuz. They cut it. Anybody can tap into the data. Our data is encrypted by keys that can be hacked at any point of time. But when you have multiple layers of sovereignty, so you have data where you can encrypt yourself, then you have operational encryption, which is to say, even beyond data, your apps that are using it, APIs that is exposed for that, can also be encrypted using your own keys on any cloud. Again, I'll say any cloud. It can be one of the public clouds, private cloud, the government cloud, or even on-prem. When you can do your own user management, you can control the policy according to which API or data is exposed. You can control when it should be switched on and off, and when you have the kill switch. Data layer, digital layer, operational layer, all should be under your control. And you should also have the mechanism to plug and play. So today you don't like one of the IBM systems, you can plug in any other commercial system you may have. You don't like our hardware, you can take your own hardware. You don't like our policies, you can apply your own policies. Obviously, you will use your own encryption keys. You don't like our data store, you can take your own data store. It should be open in real sense. And I often get asked the question, why is IBM doing it? Well, actually, we are not a big SaaS player. Legacy-wise, we've always built systems that allow you the independence. Even today, the only system in the world that you can be secure against Mythos is mainframe. Because mainframe data is not open and those models have not been trained on it. The only thing they've been trained on is writing COBOL. Just writing language cannot hack a system, right? So we believe that our way of expanding ourselves is only through sovereignty, but sovereignty at each layer with a system which is open, which we partner with government and other organization and say, you build it your own way, you can take our help. The code is always yours, by the way. But we will maintain the patching for you. So you can always run your own analysis on the code, but we guarantee you that it will be updated, it will be patched, it will be compliant to DPDP and other acts. And you can run any piece of application and software on top of that. The most important thing that has to happen is, today you have to be in control of your foundational layer. It doesn't have to be that you have to run LLM all the time. A lot of problems can be solved by SLM that are trained on your departmental data, but you cannot expose it outside. So then that is the control you need to have. The whole concept of sovereign core is you can run any model you want. You want to run an LLM, you can run that, and you can run one of the open source ones, or you can run ours, or you can run one of yours. But you can also control the way it is served. Technically, let me just share one fact with you. If you believe that when you call an OpenAI model, it is not one single model that is served to you. There is a concept of throttling that is happening. They don't give you access to the best model all the time. There is a caching mechanism based on the prompt you give. They usually give you one of the degraded model, and only when they feel that they need to, they give you the access of the other model. So what does it mean? That one point of time, you may be running multiple models to serve the same requirement, because you do not want to hit the GPU every time. What if the cache can say, oh, I already know the answer. Let me not run the GPU again. What system allows you to do that? That is what I mean by the operational part of the sovereign core, that even you have foundation where you can plug in your model, but the core should allow you to run it the way you want it, run it the models you want, run how many you want, and run it based on the policy you want. That is the kind of independence we have to get into. And I think if people are interested, I would request you all come to the IBM Software Lab in Lucknow. We can actually give you a demonstration of what the sovereign core is. How do you plug in your own stuff into that? How do you encrypt data inside of that? How do you plug and play any of the software into that? But the most important debate that I actually want to address is, if we do not invest enough in the foundational layer, we would have already lost the game. There'll be no applications in future. You will not have compiled application being installed anywhere. The frontier labs, including us, are already experimenting wherein you don't, just like you can produce the code on the fly, you can build a harness, and tomorrow you will have a specification document that you will give it to wherever you want to install it. The models will produce the software on the fly, configured for your, and customized for your requirement. So the debate we are having is today. 5 years down the line, you will have a totally different landscape where apps will not be there. The foundation models will be way, way powerful because we are training them. So with that, I would say sovereign core is the way. It is not just data and AI control. It has to be controlled at digital and operational level also. We as IBM have a product called sovereign core, wherein wherever we deploy it, we give the whole code base to you. You can actually maintain it, you can change it, you can plug and play whatever you want. But because we are doing an enterprise backup for that, we are saying the patching of that, whenever, let's say, Mythos attacks it, that's why we have access to Mythos. We can run Mythos against that and say, can Mythos break it or not? And patch it, and then again give it to you, and say, you are secure. Nobody takes that guarantee today. People who have run Mythos, you will feel that you are in a very insecure world if you're writing code anymore. Don't be too sure. Sovereign is the way. Sovereign foundation is the way. And with that, I will say thank you to the organizers for having us here, and thank you for your time.